Chad here doing a solo review of the 2023 version of Disney's Haunted Mansion. Before we get into it, like I said, I am Chad, one half of the We Used to Talk About This at Work podcast. If you're listening on the audio version, please please subscribe, leave a review, do the things that you do there. If you're on YouTube, do the YouTube things like subscribe, comment. We love engagement. So the 2023 version of The Haunted Mansion stars Rosario Dawson and her son Travis, played by Chase Dillon, who recently just relocated to New Orleans and buy a haunted mansion. And they enlist the help of Lakeith Stanfield, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, and Danny DeVito to help exorcise their haunted home. Along the way, we have slightly more than a cameo, but I wouldn't really say she's in the movie, but she's not really in the movie. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis as Madame Leota. And lastly, you've got Jared Leto just lending his voice and his face, but he doesn't really physically act in it for real, as Crump or the Hatbox Ghost. So this movie is based off of the Disney ride in 5 of the parks. The first one was opened in August 9th, 1969 in Disneyland Park. This is also, I wouldn't say a remake, but like a retelling of the infamous 2003 Eddie Murphy version of Haunted Mansion, which apparently is like everyone hates. I've never seen it, but here you go. So I do want to say that this movie is a comedy through and through. There are a lot of jokes. There's one bit where Lakeith Stanfield is having like an extremely serious monologue about a personal death in his life, and like he's like acting his heart out, and then Danny DeVito says something that just cuts all of that like tension, and like the entire crowd was laughing. Like the cast was laughing. I genuinely think that was like an ad lib that he did because of like how hard everybody laughed at what he said. And it's just like, it's a fun movie. Like there are good jokes in it. The effects are excellent. There are so many references to the Disney park rides. Even if you're not like super into like the lore or like of the ride, if you've at least ridden it once, you will recognize a fair amount of things. But there's also things in there for like hardcore Disney folks. That being said, honestly, I did not like this movie at all. It was kind of all over the place in that you had the main story of Rosario Dawson wants the house exercised so she can live in it with her son. But then you've got like all these little side plots. Like Lakeith Stanfield has a side plot that's kind of like, it doesn't feel natural to the movie. Like even though it's like kind of incorporated into like the overall plot, they have these flashbacks that just kind of come out of nowhere. There's like a love interest thing between him and Rosario Dawson that they just kind of throw at you. There's some stuff with her son and his dad, and then Lakeith Stanfield as well. They've got some like Owen Wilson has like a turn of sorts near the end of the movie, and you're like, why is this part of the movie? Like there's one part where they just leave the mansion and go on a side quest to another mansion, and then they have 2 fairly recognizable actors and like throwaway cameos like for nothing. Like they spent millions of dollars to have these people on set probably for a day, and it's just like, what? All of this could have just been in the house and we could have trimmed down some of these storylines. And it's like, The movie isn't even a full 2 hours, but okay, sorry. I just looked at it. The movie's 2 hours and 2 minutes long. Like if I was able, like this is an advanced screening, so you have to turn off all your stuff. So like if I could look at my watch, I would have checked it several times because like this movie felt longer than it actually was. Um, I'm sorry to say this, but I would not recommend people see this movie in the theater. Um, if you are into like Haunted Mansion, like the actual ride, and you want, or if you want like just a a decent comedy, wait for it to go on Disney Plus. I was kind of looking forward to this movie, and I'm sad that it really isn't worth your money. Um, that being said, I'm Chad from We Used to Talk About This at Work. Do the YouTube things if you're watching me, do the podcast things if you're listening to me, and I'll catch you on the next one.